Hi, you guys. It's Yaz. And today I want to talk about how narcissists are really kind of boring people. And other people will say, well, what do you mean they're boring? They're exciting. That's why I miss them. I had so much fun with them. It's like this, you guys. They were exciting in the beginning because they were trying to win you over. And how are they going to win you over? By trying to portray that they were your hero. They were future faking you and making you think that they were the greatest thing that walked the earth, that came into your life. And they put on a good act. This is what narcissists are. They're good actresses and actors, all right? They're basically manipulators to try to get whatever they want out of you with no empathy for the fact that they're hurting you. But deep down, that narcissist is really boring. And when are you going to see that boring part of the narcissist? After they've got you, of course, okay? In the beginning, the narcissist is great. In the beginning, the narcissist is accommodating. In the beginning, the narcissist is complimenting you and telling you how wonderful you are and all of that. And what's that going to do? That's going to make you feel great. In the beginning, the narcissist makes you feel great. That's their whole goal, is to make you feel good because they saw something in you that they wanted that would benefit them. Now, most people see benefits as, money, sex, things like that. But what a lot of people don't realize is another benefit that narcissists get out of you is just ego flattery. Just by you entertaining the narcissist, you are boosting their ego. Just by you giving them time. Just by you getting on the phone and talking to them and hearing about their problems or being their little mommy or therapist, that gives them a rush. They're getting something out of you. You're entertaining the narcissist. But deep down, that narcissist is boring. And why are narcissists boring? Because they don't have a true sense of self. They're always copying other people. They love to copy people that they wish that they were like them, okay? They may dress like them. They may act like them. They may laugh like them. So they pretend to be somebody that they're not, okay? And they're chameleons. Narcissists are chameleons. So they're going to mold themselves into who you want, all right? Let's say that this is why narcissists, they're going to study you in the beginning to see what you're into, what your likes are, and they're going to mold themselves into being that person. And like I said, everything is great in the beginning because it's the beginning and you haven't seen their true self. Narcissists, covert narcissists in particular, they hide their true self. So you'll never really know what this person is thinking or feeling. So they're going to portray an image of somebody that they aren't. But what happens is as time goes by with the narcissist is going to start to see things they don't like in you. And that's where the devaluation happens, where they start to put you down, criticize, judge you. And this also happens too if they have supply on the side. So now they feel independent. They don't need you that much, or they don't need you at all. So they'll start to devalue you. And what happens with all of this? They become cantankerous in the sense that they become more difficult and boring, okay? And this is the true narcissist. The true narcissist is basically a boring person who doesn't have interest in what you have interest in. They just pretended to be interested in what you're into. And when you spend time with them, the more you know that narcissist, the more you're going to see they're a very boring person, okay? They don't have their own independent thoughts. They're afraid to show their true self. So they hide their feelings and emotions. And what they do, especially if you're dealing with a covert narcissist, they're very passive. So they'll be sitting there and you feel like they're there, but they're really not there, all right? They pretend to be with you. They pretend to be spending time with you, but their mind is always somewhere else, okay? Why? Because they're never all into the relationship, and they become very boring. They also become very boring because they're always on their phone. They have to keep in contact with their other supply. They've always got to be on their phone texting back and forth, seeing what's going on, checking their social media. So they are never all into the relationship with you. And what's that going to do? That's going to make you feel alone, and you're going to be bored. You're bored because you feel that you don't have that other person's presence with you. They're only with you in body, but you feel alone because maybe you're with them a while and they don't spend time with you. They go in the other room, they're in the bathroom, they're out in the car, they're contacting their other supply. See, a narcissist is living a secret life, all right? I brought this up a long time ago, and then everybody says, oh, narcissists live secret lives, right? But it's the truth. Narcissists live secret lives, so they can't put their focus 100% onto you, and you're going to be bored or you're going to be lonely, okay? And another thing too is, especially with the covert narcissist, you may ask them, what do you want to do or something like that? And they're like, oh, I don't care, whatever, this and that. Why? Because their mind is not with you. Their mind is on something else that you don't know about. Maybe their other supply or doing something that you don't know about. So they're going to leave things up to you to have to decide a lot of times, okay? The narcissists don't want the responsibility. For instance, I just did a podcast about how narcissists are lazy daters, and this is so true. The narcissist is a lazy dater. They don't want to put the work in. So when they don't want to put the work in, you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like you're doing everything, and you're with a very boring person. You're with a person that's mind is elsewhere. So they're horrible people in the sense that they portray that they're with you when they're really not with you. Their minds are always elsewhere. Their minds are always thinking about something else or something better, or that the grass is greener somewhere else. Or they're thinking about the other supply they may have just seen, and now they're coming to see you. So they're boring. They could be very boring because they're tired all the time. They're tired all the time because they're running around living these double lives, and they can't put energy into doing things with you. So they'll come along in body, but then they're not really interested in doing any of the activities that you do with them. Let's say you plan an activity over the weekend. You're going to go to the mall, or you're going to, go to a sports event or something like that. The narcissist is going to sit there and look like they don't even want to be there half the time. Or they're going to be looking around, seeing what other supply is there, but they're not with you. They're not all focused in connecting with you. See, a narcissist doesn't want to connect with you, and especially a covert narcissist. They don't want to connect with you. They're very on the surface. How you doing? Good. How are you? Yeah, how's the weather? This, that. Okay. And then meanwhile, they're on their phones, or they're busy, or they make excuses, and they do the token coming to see you, but then they're boring. And the other thing too is a lot of narcissists, they don't want to do things because they don't want to spend money, okay? Maybe they're with you for a supply of sex. They don't want to spend money. So they don't want to go out and spend money on you or do anything like that because they're getting the sex anyway. They don't have to put the work into anything. See, narcissists don't want to put the work in. So you're going to feel like you're doing all the work, and that's going to become boring to you because you don't have anybody that you're interacting with. When you interact with a narcissist, unless it's the love bombing stage that they're putting the work in because they're trying to win you over, as the relationship goes on, you're going to be doing all the work. You're going to be planning what the two of you do together. And then the narcissist is going to be complaining. Oh, I don't feel like doing this, or I don't want to do that. Or I'm not into that, or this sucks, or that sucks, or something like that. And they're going to ruin your day. They're going to ruin your day because they're really not there. They're really not present. And they really don't want to be bothered because you don't have anything to offer them. They're just with you because at that point, you're like a backup supply that they just got to get it in, that they see you, but their mind is always elsewhere. Where is the next best thing? Okay? So they are not, if you ever marry a narcissist, you will be bored out of your fucking mind. Bored out of your mind. And the ironic thing about narcissists is they pretend that they're happy in the marriage. Oh, I'm happy. I don't know what your problem is. I'm happy. They're just lazy. They don't want to change their circumstances. Maybe they don't want to get divorced because that means splitting assets. Maybe they don't want to get divorced because they still like to be around their kids and spend time with their kids, but they're not into you. There's a lot of reasons that people stay with you and they're not all into the relationship. Maybe they're staying with you because they're on your health plan, okay? But they're boring. They're not all into the relationship, and they're just there in body only. They're just there in body only. That's why I always say you got to look at somebody's energy. If they're not giving you that same energy to interact with you, to be with you, then you are basically alone in that relationship, okay? The other thing with narcissists you got to remember is they're afraid to be vulnerable. So when you interact with people and you want to really get close, the way you get close with somebody is by showing your vulnerabilities. And this is something that a narcissist doesn't want to do. They don't want to show their vulnerabilities. So they're going to be boring, okay? They're going to be very boring and talk about things that are on the surface because they don't want to open up to you. They protect themselves that way. That's their way to protect themselves of not getting hurt, is to hold everything inside, okay? So deep down, they may seem exciting in the beginning, but you're basically dealing with a shell of a person that puts on a facade of who they are and they copy others, okay? It's like the narc abuse influencer that copies me. He is a shell of a person that really doesn't have any real life experience, because otherwise he'd be focusing on podcasting about that instead of listening to other influencers like me and copying the topics and titles and things that we say as his own, okay? That's where people get confused, because they come back to me and they say, well, narcissism, everybody experiences the same thing. That's not necessarily true. Everybody has different individual specific things that may have happened to them, but somebody who copies you is somebody who doesn't have their own true self that could talk things from their perspective and things they went to. They're going around, they're copying. This happens to influencers all the time. You get these get rich money quick scammers that go out there that copy the big influencers and try to just put out, they plagiarize, they change a few words, and they try to come off as authentic, and they are fooling you. You know how many people are fooled by big influencers that think that they are authentic, and all this influencer is doing is reiterating what a smaller influencer might have been saying because they know it's the truth and they know it's good content and they want to make it their own. So you guys, it's like this, okay? It's like this. You'll know by how in-depth somebody can get into it as to whether they're telling you they're true, they're a true survivor, or whether they're not, okay? But see, narcissists, it's like the point of all this is the fact that narcissists, when they get with you, they're not showing their true self. They're showing you a self that you want to see, so that you are fooled into thinking that this is the person that you want to be. It's like I said in a reel, I said, you weren't in love with the narcissist. You were in love with who you thought the narcissist was, okay? You thought that this person was going to fulfill your dreams, because that's the misconception and the deception that they put in front of you to make you think that they were going to fulfill your dreams, or the two of you together were going to have this wonderful life. That was all deception. Narcissists are all about deception, okay? It's like the narc abuse coach that follows me. He's all about deception. And only the few people that know the truth, that can spot fakeness, will be able to see it, okay? Will be able to see it and be able to see the copying that has been going on. And it's the same thing when you get involved with a narcissist when they become boring. They're becoming boring because they're not able to open up themselves and show you who they really are. So it's boring when somebody's always on the surface or not really present with you, right? And that's what you have with a narcissist. You're not going to connect with a narcissist. You will never be fulfilled by a narcissist. They are a shell of a person that has to copy others to try to be something that they are not, all right? Get away from these people. You're losing nothing. Never mourn losing a narcissist because you're not losing anything. You're losing a fantasy. That's all you're losing. You're losing a fantasy of what that narcissist portrayed themselves to be and the fantasy of the life that you would have together with them, all right? So, you need to see them. You need to be able to see through people and focus and see when somebody is genuine and authentic and when somebody is copying, okay? When somebody is copying because they are not an authentic person and therefore they're going to be boring after a while because they don't have a true identity of who they are, okay? They're copying others. They don't have a true identity, and you will never be able to connect with them because when you have a true identity and you connect with somebody, you're able to open up and really explain and connect and really have that bond with somebody. And you're never going to have it, especially with a covert narcissist, because they won't do that. So they are very boring. They're very guarded. They have a wall up. And you're going to feel alone and you're going to be bored with this person. Once they stop that love bombing, you're going to be bored with them because you're going to see a shell of a person that's really not all in, okay? I hope that helps you guys. If it does, hit the subscribe button, share the podcast. The other thing too, you guys, if you want one-on-one phone coaching, go to the link in the bio. And there's a link there for my website where you can get one-on-one coaching, okay? And have a great day, you guys.